This video, we're going to talk about absolute change, absolute error, and relative change or relative error. These are things that you're going to talk about a lot if you take classes with labs, say like biology lab, chemistry lab, physics lab, something like that. One of the things you'll be asked to do in your lab reports is to find your percent error. If you know what the expected value is, and then you have your experimental value, you'll find the difference between your experimental and your actual, and you'll divide it by your actual and multiply it times 100%. And that's the same formula as these, where your reference value is your theoretical or your actual value, the one that you are supposed to get, and the comparing the value that you're comparing it to is your one that you got from your experiment. So very practical here, since most everybody that is in some kind of college degree is going to have to take some sciences somewhere, or somewhere where you're going to have to find percent error. You're going to have something like that. So let's go ahead and let's do these problems, and we're going to find both the absolute change, the absolute difference, and the relative change or relative difference. In this textbook, relative change and relative difference both mean to find the percent change or percent error. It doesn't always mean that in every textbook. If you get to calculus textbooks, the relative change will be expressed just as this fraction before the percentage, and they'll tell you to find the percent change by multiplying by 100%. But there you go. In the college, there are 1,310 male students and 1,150 female students, and they want us to compare these values. So the absolute difference, they want us to use the second quantity as the reference value. So we're going to say that there are 1310 minus 1150. To find the absolute change is 0 minus 0 is 0. We're going to have to borrow here. 11 minus 5 is 6. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So there's absolute difference of 160 more male students than female students. Now let's change that to a percent difference. And so that absolute difference here of 160 is going to get divided by my reference value, which is the second quantity here, the amount of female students, times 100%. Let's do that in the calculator. So 160 divided by 1150. And there's, when we change that to a percentage, that's going to be 13.9%. Cut it off here, but it says round answers to the nearest tenth of a percent, or to the nearest tenth as necessary. So 13.9% more male students than female students. I'm going to get rid of these formulas. I hope you've written them down at this point. If not, you can pause the video and you can write them down before you continue with the video. All right. Last year, the total revenue for the Clearline Phone Company was $13.6 million, while the revenue for its competitor, the Speakmore, was 8.6 million. So 13.6 million minus 8.6 million is a difference of exactly 5 million. And we'll change that to a percent difference by taking 5 million divided by this reference value of 8.6 million times 100%. The millions of dollars are going to cancel out. This is 5 divided by 8.6 times 100%. Is going to be 58.1%. So we can say that Clearline made 58.1% more in revenue than its competitor Speakmore. In Jose's hometown, there are 218,000 people whose first language is English and 50,000 whose first language is Spanish. We're assuming no intersection here because you're not going to have two first languages. So 218,000 minus 50,000 is a absolute difference of 168,000. We're going to take that absolute difference and we're going to divide it by the reference value of 50,000 and multiply that by 100%. So all those cancel each other out. This is the same as 168 divided by 50 times 100%. I'm going to make this easy on myself and get this 50 to become 100 by multiplying by 2, 16, 13, 3, this is 336%. More people speak English than Spanish in that town. So I had an absolute difference of 168,000 people, and that's a relative or percent difference of 336,000, or sorry, yeah, 336%. Number 42 here says in a certain country, the life expectancy for men is 70.6 years. Life expectancy for women is 75.7 years. This is going to come up to be a negative number. That's okay. My absolute difference here is going to be, right? And so that tells me that that comparatively here, that the men are living less time than the women, that the women live longer, right? So there's an absolute difference of 5.1 years that the men live less than the women. I'm going to take that negative 5.1 and I'm going to divide it by the 75.7 and multiply by 100% to change it to a percent change. And this is a negative 6.7%. So men live 6.7% fewer years on average in this place than the women. based off of average life expectancy. Last one for this video, the population density in country A is 76 people per square mile. In country B, it is 630 people per square mile. So absolute difference there is 76 minus 630 is going to be negative 554. And we're going to take that negative 554 and we're going to divide it by the 630, that reference value, times 100%. That's going to be that country A is 87.9% less dense relatively than country B. Okay, that's it for this video. Next time we will come back and we will solve some problems using some percentages. We'll have to decide what technique to use when we do that.